Hey boys and girls, I'm so glad you're here today as we finish up our focus on faith. I feel like my faith has grown this summer, and I hope you feel the same way too. By now, you probably know what faith means, so let's say it all together. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. It takes real focus to have faith in what we can't see. And speaking of what we can and can't see, it's time to put our focusing skills to the test with another game called What Do You See? I'm going to put an image on the screen, and it's your job to focus. Some of you will look at the picture and see one thing, while another person in your family will look at the same exact picture and see something totally different. Are you ready? Okay, here's the picture. Now focus. Did you see a duck or a rabbit? If you saw a duck, go to this side of the room. And if you saw a rabbit, go to this side of the room. And if you can see both the duck and the rabbit, you go to the middle of the room. Okay, those of you who can only see one picture, now would be a great time to pause the video and try to focus a little more and see things from someone else's perspective. Okay, now it's time to take a look at the second picture. Do you see an older lady or a younger lady? If you see an older lady, go to this side of the room. And if you see a younger lady, go to this side of the room. And if you can see both, go to the middle. That one was a little bit harder, wasn't it? To see both pictures, it took a lot of focus. Okay, let's try one last time and focus on seeing both pictures. Here it is. Do you see a vase or do you see two people facing each other? If you see a vase, hurry to this side of the room. And if you see two people facing each other, go to this side of the room. And if you can see both, now go to the middle. Isn't it crazy how we see things differently when we're all looking at the same exact picture? Do you know why? It's because of what we choose to focus on. So now, let's all choose to focus on worship. Worship is a way we can give thanks to God. When we remember what He's done for us, that can shift everything about our perspective and our day. So let's kick off our time together this morning by giving God praise and thanking Him for who He is.
You spoke a word and brought the world to light. Your voice still echoes through the darkest night. I could try my best to count the stars. Nothing could compare to who you are.
everybody. I'm Erica, and welcome to my STEAM Lab. I've got something extra special to show you today, and I have faith that it will be my coolest discovery yet. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. And what I can see is this awesome telescope! Ooh. Everything! Wow. I am super excited for what we'll be able to see through this telescope. Stars, planets, galaxies, satellites, space exploring cats. Well, maybe not the cats. There's a skylight in the lab. So I can see all the cool stuff from right here. I just have to finish focusing the telescope. Okay, while I focus on the telescope, why don't you guys focus on the awesome Bible story today? It's out of this world.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story inspired by the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verses 3 to 5.
John squinted against the blinding glare of the afternoon sun. Just a short distance away, frothy waves crashed against craggy rocks and foamed over white sands. This island of Patmos was isolated and rocky, but the view was stunning, surrounded by brilliant blue sea and sky.
Most beautiful prison on earth.
Though he wasn't chained up, John was in jail. The Roman emperor, who was unable to make John stop preaching about Jesus, had exiled him to this prison colony where many prisoners worked in the mines. There was no way off the island, so John was now very old, living out his final years on the island of Patmos with a handful of criminals.
I can share the story of Jesus with them too.
John settled into a shallow cave on shore to take shelter from the heat. He closed his eyes.
I've seen so much.
John had lived longer than any of the other of Jesus' disciples. He had watched the early church grow while the story of Jesus spread fast and bright as wildfire. But he had also seen terrible things happen to those who believed in Jesus. In fact, many people died just for talking about Jesus.
We saw everything Jesus did. We can believe He'll be with us forever, even through death.
Despite the threats and persecution, more people than ever were following Jesus. God's story was traveling from one end of the world to the other, just like Jesus said it would.
I wonder why I've been allowed to live this long.
In the cool of the shallow cave, John began to relax. His head was nodding until a voice like a trumpet sounded behind him.
Write on a scroll what you see.
John blinked. Was he awake or dreaming?
Wait, what? I don't see. Oh.
Turning, John saw Jesus himself, his eyes blazing with intensity.
Do not be afraid. I was dead, but look, I am alive forever and ever. Write about what is happening now and what will happen later.
John's mind worked quickly, trying to grasp what was happening. It appeared that God was trying to show him a picture of things that would happen in the future, and he wanted John to write them down and show them to others so that they could believe too.
Yes, Lord. Do you mind if I grab a scroll? Oh, and a quill. I don't want to forget anything.
John watched, amazed, as God showed him many things that were coming. Some were wonderful. Some were terrible. Some were mysterious. After the vision ended, John began a letter to several of the new churches.
I, John, am writing this. I am a friend who suffers like you. As members of Jesus' royal family, We can put up with anything that happens to us.
John explained every strange and amazing thing he had seen. Some of it made him tremble. Others wouldn't make sense until the right time had come. But the last part of his vision,
That's the very best part. I can't wait to write all about it.
God had shown John how the whole story will turn out for everyone who believes in Jesus. Carefully, he recalled all the incredible things he'd seen.
How am I going to do this? I mean, there's no way that words can capture it. But I have to try. It's just a picture. Until they get to see for themselves how real and breathtaking it will be. I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
John remembered the words that Jesus had spoken while he was on earth, right before his death and return to life.
There are many rooms in my Father's house. I am going there to prepare a place for you. If I go and do that, I will come back, and I will take you to be with me. Then you will also be where I am.
That's what I saw. It's the special place Jesus is making for each one of us. A place where we will never be apart from God.
John recalled the next scene from his vision. He saw a great white throne.
I heard a loud voice from the throne. It said, "Now God makes his home with people. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or sadness. There will be no more crying or pain."
John paused as he stared in wonder at what he had just written down.
All of these terrible things we've seen. People sick and hurt, being mocked and put in jail. All of it will be made right.
Something else stood out to John.
Light. There was so much light. The city does not need the sun or moon to shine on it. God's glory is its light, and the Lamb, Jesus, is its lamp. Its gates will never be shut because there will be no night there.
The place John had seen wasn't just filled with light, it was beautiful too.
Then the angel showed me the river of the water of life. It was as clear as crystal. It flowed from the throne of God and of the Lamb. It flowed down the middle of the city's main street. On each side of the river stood the tree of life. Its fruit was ripe every month. The leaves of the tree bring healing to the nations.
Once again, John lifted his pen from the page. It just seemed impossible to share the real glory of what he had seen with tiny black marks on a scroll. He tried again.
God's servants will serve him. They will see his face.
John felt himself grinning. He could say one thing for sure, no one would be bored. He and every other person who believes in God would finally be able to live out what they were created to do, fully and completely, with no sin or frustration or weariness to get in the way.
May the grace of the Lord Jesus be with God's people. Amen.
Now, John didn't know exactly when the things God had shown him would take place, and neither do we. But from what we've seen and heard, we know one thing for certain. In the end, God will make everything right for those who trust in him.
Whoa! Would you look at that? That doesn't look like cheese at all. I love getting a glimpse of things I'm not used to seeing every day. Like today's story. We got a little glimpse of what the future could be like. When Jesus was on earth, he said if anyone puts their faith in him, they'll have a relationship with God that will last forever. That means we can be a part of God's big story, a story that never ends. Now, I don't know what you imagine when you think about heaven. Maybe it's clouds and harps and angels flying around. Maybe what you imagine is exactly right. Though there's a lot about the future we don't understand, it's exciting to think about the things we do know. When we believe in Jesus, we can look forward to a time when there will be no more pain, no more sadness. Everything will be made new. We will be fully alive with God in a way we can't even imagine. That's the one thing to remember today. Following Jesus will turn out greater than you can imagine. Having a glimpse at the future can give us hope here in the present, When we're worried about something or someone, or when we're sad or in pain, we know the bad things won't last forever. God has a future plan for us that we can truly focus on. Speaking of, let's see what this thing is focused on now. I don't believe it! Space cats! Oh. Gotcha! Thanks for hanging with me in the lab, and keep focusing on the important stuff. See you later.
John didn't know exactly when the things God had shown him in his vision would take place, and neither do we. It's kind of like this puzzle. We have some pieces put together so we can get an idea of what it will be like, but we can't see the whole picture because we don't have all the pieces yet. The same goes for us. It can be tough when we feel uncertain and we're not sure what's going to happen next. But the great thing is, when we follow God, we can trust His plan for our lives. There's a lot we don't know, but it helps to focus on what we do know. We know that God made us and that He loves us, and we know we have this amazing promise. Anyone who puts their faith in Jesus can have a relationship with God that never ends. We'll experience life that will last forever with no more pain and no more sadness. We'll be fully alive with God in a way we can only imagine here on earth, just like our bottom line says for today. Following Jesus will turn out greater than you can ever imagine. Can you say that with me? Following Jesus will turn out greater than you can imagine. So when you're worried about the future, or maybe you lose someone you love, or plans don't work out the way you thought they would, you can still live with confidence and joy in this life. You can have faith that God's plan is good and His love for us will last forever. Remember, our story isn't finished yet. We have an amazing future waiting for us where everything will be made right and we'll be with God forever. Just like this puzzle, one day all the pieces will be put together and we'll be able to see the full picture. I can't wait to see what's ahead for you and me, and you can feel the same way too when you place your faith in Jesus. So now let's talk a little more about this with our families as we check out our parent guides, and preschoolers, we've got a special lesson waiting just for you from Ollie and his friends. I love you boys and girls, and I'll see you right back here at Harvest Kids Online next week.
it is?
Time to hear a story full of wonder. There's so much fun we'll have learning together. So let's go down to the clubhouse with Ollie and his friends. Let's go down to the clubhouse where wonder never ends at the Wonder Clubhouse. Meet with you at the Wonder Clubhouse. Meet with you.
That should do it. Oh, hey everyone, I'm Manny, and I did the coolest thing today. I went to the eye doctor. Can you tell me what this picture is? It was easy to see the pictures at the top of the chart, but the teeny ones at the bottom, those were harder. It was so much fun that I made my own eye chart to practice. Let's put it on the wall. Now you can practice with me too. Here's the fun part. You have to cover up one eye. Take your hand like this and cover up one eye. And hold it right there. Ready? I spy with my little eye something that is green and brown and has branches. It's a tree! You spotted it! Now let's test your other eye. Take your other hand like this and cover up your other eye and hold it right there. Ready? I spy with my little eye something that is red and means love. A heart! You did it! You spotted something on the smallest row. Great work!
Ho, ho.
Hey, it's Ollie!
Hello, Manny. Ho, ho. Testing your vision, are you?
Hi, Ollie. Sure am. I made my own eye chart to practice seeing.
That's a fun thing to do. But I've got something even better to spy. It's true. So let's hear this story. Just follow me through. Ho, ho.
Follow me through, follow me through. Ollie's got a Bible story for me and you.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Aisha and welcome to my cupcake food truck. Check out today's special. Ta-da! I call them Taste Like Heaven because each bite is the best thing ever. Which is exactly the true story I want to tell you today. Get your I Spy eyes ready so you can help me tell the story. Awesome! If you're ready for a story, on the count of 3, yell, "Tell me a story." 1, 2, 3. Tell me a story. Raise your hand if you have ever heard about a place called heaven. Great! That is what our story is about today. A very special place called heaven. One day, Jesus was with his friends, the disciples. He told them he would be going away soon. He said he was going to a special place called heaven to get everything ready for all of the people who believed in him. He said this place was very big and it had a lot of rooms. Later, after Jesus died and came back, he visited many of his friends. Jesus wanted his friends to see that he was alive with their very own eyes. Jesus talked with them and ate food with them so they would see he is alive and believe in him. Do you see Jesus alive? Help me look for him. I spy with my little eye. Jesus is alive! While Jesus was talking and eating with his friends, he told them to go and tell everyone that he is alive and he wants to be their friend forever. Then something amazing happened. After Jesus finished talking to his friends, he went straight up into the sky, through the clouds, and into heaven. All of his friends saw him do it with their very own eyes. Can you see a sky with clouds? Look with me. I spy with my little eye a sky with clouds! While Jesus' friends were standing there looking at the sky, 2 angels came and asked them, "Why are you looking at the sky? Jesus has gone to heaven, but he'll be back."
Wow, we know heaven is real because Jesus told us it is real. And we can believe Jesus because he always tells the truth. And everyone who believes in Jesus will get to be his friend forever and live with him in heaven one day. Can you see why this is one of my favorite true stories from the Bible? And Jesus is getting a place in heaven ready for everyone who believes in him. Did you like the story? If you did, give it 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up! Hey there, Ollie, tell me, who can believe in Jesus?
I can believe in Jesus. Yes, it's true. Now let's hear it from you. Tell me, who can believe in Jesus?
I can believe in Jesus. That's the truth, friends. You better believe it. Bye!
So there's your story, and it's all true. Jesus has a special place with him in heaven, for me and for you.
Thanks, Ollie.
Goodbye to you. Hoo, hoo.
Wow, Jesus wants to be our friend forever. He's even made a special place for us in heaven one day. I think I got the story. Did you get it? If you did, say got it. Get it? Got it! Good! I love spying fun things on my eye chart. But the most amazing thing to spy on is this, my Bible. Because the Bible teaches us that Jesus wants to be our friend forever. He's even made a special place for us in heaven one day. See you guys next time. Bye. I spy with my little eye.
These are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. John 20:31. These are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. John 20:31.